All right. Hello, guys. Thanks so much when we get those audio issues fixed up. My name is Jinxie Cat, and welcome back to the DreamHack Community Class Heroes of the Storm event. We're so excited to bring you the events today. Sorry for the delay. We had players who didn't understand the meaning of check-in, and so as such didn't. And then after they did, decided, we can do the map bans whenever or whatnot. How are we looking, Tetcher? You all good?
I don't know. The producer will have to tell me. This is wonderful. Looks like we are good. Excellent. Welcome back. This is the DreamHack Community Clash. I am Tetcher. This is Jinxie Cat. And we are getting ready to head into our semi-finals. We have one team in this match that will 100% qualify for DreamHack Beyond in the upcoming months. Jinxie, which two teams do we have?
All right. Well, right now we are currently looking at the CCS team. Their name... We always refer to them as CCS, but it's can't censorship this time around. And then, of course, you know them, you love them. It's 30K.
Both very strong teams. 30K tried to qualify last week as well, but were unable to take the full victory all the way, as the teams that qualified last time were Simplicity and Stonk, who are now known as Diamond Hands, the ex-Onyx roster. Stonk and Diamond Hands are already out. Diamond Hands actually going down to 30K. Simplicity are still in. No, Simplicity are actually out. Looks like the other semi-final has concluded while we're off stream. Wildheart have also qualified. So they have already made it to the final. So the winner of this will qualify alongside Wildhearts, and we will be casting that grand final.
I am really looking forward to it. Fingers crossed nobody drops out this time around so we can get a couple of really solid matches in. But it's the finals. I'd be surprised if they didn't, because if I remember correctly, both of the teams in the finals do qualify, right?
Yes, they both qualify, and
yes.
it's a battle for prize pool after that point.
That's right.
Feels good. So, our first map, as you already saw on the map bad screen, there is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Very rotation heavy. The 4-man is very important, so you get a lot of attention put onto that 4-man rotation, while the bot lane is mostly left alone. But obviously, getting control of that bot lane with some solid ganks gives you control over that. Very valuable on this map because the lanes are so short. That siege camp that can give you a lot of value.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how they're able to rotate through and figure out what's going on. Wave clear, the biggest thing that has to be considered here as we head on in to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Let's get this going. First ban going over to 30K as this map choice did in fact go over to Can't Censorship. The Medivh will start off as our first ban. Just getting rid of him. He's still very strong.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Uther banned away as well. He was recently nerfed. We're going to see Hogger this time round. So still potential for Sonya, though I highly doubt it. And then judging by the Hogger right there, looks like a lot of folks aren't considering Uther tank material anymore.
Very much so. Like, we did see him a little bit earlier in some of the previous games that happened off stream. We saw him as main tank and a support, but it was usually, again, in that double support lineup, as we've already mentioned before. And in one case, it was against a Stitches composition, where the whole idea was Brightwing and Uther cleanse everything, blink away if there's problems, divine shield people who are hooked in. It was just a big focus onto countering that. But now, though, Chromie taken out of action, removed that big siege pressure.
Absolutely, and yeah, no more Uther. His reign has come to an end as we're going to see Lucio taken away this time round, which I think is a really smart pickup there, looking at all of our players and everything. And okay!
There he is.
Yeah, Yasuo just going to grab the Uther right out the gate, so forget everything that I'm saying.
Absolutely, we're still going to get that Uther pop it up here. Still a powerful pick. It's currently being hovered by Yasuo, though, so we do have that on the main support for now. Not yet being switched over to X-Ray. We'll see how that is played as the draft continues round, whether it is going to be that main support or the main tank. The flexibility of Uther.
One of the things you love to see about this. Vala, a rather contested pick in Storm League the last couple of weeks. Some people saying, she's absolutely insane right now. Some people saying she's still a potato unless you're still a God tier Vala player. We'll have to see as Roger is picking her up and then Shredded Wind grabbing that Brightwing.
That's really good. A really good combo here. Brightwing with the cooldown reduction at level 1 gives you massive sustain for Vala. Just get the cooldown reduction in those in-lane fights, which is the only space that really exists on this map outside of the boss. So just keep her sustained, blink heal to keep the all topped up, and with Valor current DPS output, it is crazy. This is going to be, by the looks of it, a main tank Uther, as we do see that Stukov picked up here. And Cassia, a solid damage output. That is potentially, if Stukov was to go for the armor, a lot of armor, Jinxie.
Absolutely, something to really shut down Vala. Now, the curious thing here is we're seeing X-Ray grab the Stukov. Now, this isn't the first time, if they go through with it, that we've seen a main tank Uther, if you will. So, or not an Uther, excuse me, Stukov. So I'm not convinced, maybe we will end up seeing Yasu on that Uther and X-Ray on the Stukov. A lot of different combinations they can try here.
You have to, of course, remember that before this CCL season that came up, X-Ray was a support player, really getting his big start on Field of Heat back in the day, where he was just, for starters, a god. But for second, he was an incredible support player, so seeing he's very happy to play on that support or that currently main tank role that he does fill. We're going to see Diablo taken out here, with Uther being the only cleanse hero currently in the game. The ability to just blast down that Cassia is going to be very useful. So taking that away, this potential Diablo flip into Brightwing Poly could be very risky, especially if they're able to hit someone like the Stukov.
Absolutely. So plenty of different options to consider here. Lots of good tanks still available. Mei, Johanna, and Junkrat Mei will be coming out. I keep crossing my fingers that we're going to see a Johanna because she did get a rework. A lot of folks are saying, you still just basically built the same build, just now some of her offlaning capabilities for people who like the spicy offlane Johanna are taken away. But judging by the fact that we got Mei and we have 2 supports, we won't be seeing her in this match today. So plenty of different opportunities. But the Junkrat, that's really been rising to priority. I don't know about you, but I've been seeing a lot more Junkrat.
Junkrat adds so much wave clear. It gives you so much D-push potential, but very importantly as well, when you're running it into an Uther main tank, Uther's main strategy of hard engage is running at you. A concussion mine completely shuts that down, same for Steel Trap. It's a great tool for potentially getting turnaround plays.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that just changes everything. Like you said, you're going in for that engage, and then it turns out, you're over the wall or you're in the backline where the team can shred you. Rexar coming in for Nathanatos as the final pick. There's a lot of CC over on the side of our CCS team here. You look through, Mei, lots of zone control as well with Misha and Mei, Junkrat. It's going to be really difficult for 30k to get some turn-ins here.
Very much so. They're going to have to put in a lot of work. They do have a lot of poke of their own with that Cassia and Tassadar, but it's very much down to that. Can their poke get away with it without being punished by that Rexar, by that Mei, who's a little bit more of a solid hard engage? Because right now, 30k, they do have the engage tools, but they have to get past the Junkrat. So right now, I think a lot of their actual engage is going to be coming from Liam. So their mid to late game might be what they focus on.
Absolutely. We'll have to see as we head on in here for game number 1. I'm really excited. These are some fun, unusual drafts that we haven't really gotten to see. That last patch really spiced things up. And I honestly can't decide definitively who I think takes it in the draft.
I do love the Uther main tank. It got nerfed very heavily, but it's rarely gone too wrong. So I don't hate it as an idea here. Oh, we'll have to see how that goes. It looks like we are ready to jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, coming in from CCS, it looks like it is going to be Can't Censor Ship. Once we are into the game, we can introduce the players.
There was an overlay we could swap. That'd be really, really helpful here.
Well, we'll introduce the players via radiocast as we have on the left. It is going to be the Vala played by Roger. We have Ibtings, or IBTings, playing that Junkrat. Shredded Wind on that Brightwing. Nathanatos is on the Rexar. And then that Mei, a little bit further down, hidden off the screen, is going to be played by Caesar Salad.
And the members of 30k, it's going to be Hasuavs on that Tassadar. X-Ray will be your Stukov. Dynout rocking that Cassia. Liam is going to be your Urel. And Uther will be played by Yasu, or Yasu Wu, as he is listed here. Lots of damage coming out onto Mei as we head on in. Oh, definitely over that W build right out the gate.
Very much makes sense. It is the most powerful build right now. Absolutely dunks everything in its way with that stacking build. It is the go-to. Another build that's become very popular these days, we're seeing Psi Infusion for the Tassadar. A lot of Tassadars have moved away from that Q-based build, instead going for the more mana sustain and the longer range poke.
Absolutely. Is everyone clearing right now? Nobody fighting at these early levels. There isn't a whole lot to be gained. So it's all about that soak, grabbing those gems, and then looking to fight folks off early. It's a little bit of a party down here in the bottom lane. We're going to see a stun onto Liam there. Susala going to try and chase him down, but of course, if that Avenging Wrath is too strong, she's going to be able to jump away.
Absolutely able to avoid the fight for now, but it does open the opportunity for Shredded Wind and Roger to take this siege camp very aggressively. Being traded though, on the right-hand side, 30k, they grab their Bruiser first, prioritizing the mid-lane push, which is quite a good idea. If you know your opponents aren't starting theirs, you could potentially get quite a lot of value with that. They're able to find Ivy Tiggs here. Stun comes out. Good shots. And the Side Storm will pick up first blood. Nicely done by Hasu and Yasu.
Shredded Wind not able to teleport quick enough. Great damage there by Hasu coming out. They're going to continue to push. And down in the bottom, the siege camp already going down. This is why 30k wasn't so worried about losing that bottom camp. Rel clears it very quickly. And now there's big damage here. Shredded Wind taking a lot of damage. Has to back away while Roger tries to poke folks out. And this wall is under some serious trouble.
Roger does, of course, have that multi-shot build. It's not the worst wave clear, but without Junkrat, they do miss a lot. As you say, the wall goes down due to that missing Junkrat. Very good offense coming in from 30k to start us off, and they pick up a small XP lead. And they're going to try and make it even more. Good slow into the stun. Liam picks up the Rexar kill.
2 kills already going over to the side of 30k. Great zoning, though, by the members of CCS here. They're going to just back it away, try and see if they can't get some value. First Web Weaver, not necessarily the strongest. I've heard a lot of players say what you really want to go for is that second Web Weaver because you get it around level 10, you have your heroic abilities online, and you can look to make more happen. Whereas the first one, you're lucky to get a couple of fort walls.
Very much so, with the first Web Weavers nearing for both teams. We'll see if that does come to pass, or whether potentially another kill or two can change that. Concussion Mine onto Yasu. Backs away pretty fairly. The Force Wall also zoning everyone away, as it is going to be the more common these days electric fence. It's all about this area control. Slow people down, land the Psy Storm, control the fight that way. But while that was happening, 30k sneak in the first turn.
Continue to creep in here, see what they can make happen. Big fight booping out here. 30k ready to rock and roll. They're actually getting it at level 7, which is a lot earlier than we see our typical second Web Weaver here. But they're already in control. They have that extra talent advantage, so they can still make big plays happen. In fact, Susala going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Has to back away, try to win, able to get them all the way back up to full. Now, 30k are just going to look to push it all in.
Making their way forward, putting on the pressure. You can see there's multiple Psy Storms coming out from Tassadar, from Hasu, with that Psionic Echo. Avoids Caesar Salad, who's trying to zone, but eats the stun, eats another stun, but is able to stasis to buy some time. But the patience from Liam is so high. Caesar Salad chased down and will be sniped by the split-pushing Cassie.
Lots of big gems going over there. No one in range to pick them up, so it's going to be 13 gems going down. Nobody nobody able to grab them. We're going to continue to push in here on this fort. It will end up going down, and we might be looking at the top one as well here. Right now, you can see Junkrat will fall trying to defend there, and yeah, 2-4. It's really, really well done for 30k.
Asu with literally no chill this game is absolutely destroying everyone in his way. In terms of damage right now, he's on 11k, the highest in the game, and is picking up so many kills. He also has the highest siege damage of any hero, including Junkrat. Hasuobs is tearing it up here. They don't have enough for their chain turn-ins, but they are just getting those gems off their bodies just in case CCS are able to get the turnaround.
There's definitely a reason why Hasuobs is a household name in Heroes of the Storm households, and that's because he just shreds through people. Very tip-top, triple S tier player, taking no prisoners this time around. They came to play, they came to win. They had their season cut short. in the previous rendition here, and they are not letting that happen this time around.
We do have a lot more control coming in from this Junkrat with Boom Pow, a 10-second cooldown reduction if he hits an enemy with concussion mine. This is again what we were talking about earlier, the zoning. Also comboing that with Bogged Down, the 40% slow. The counteraction though, even without the cooldown reduction on that Hammer of the Lightbringer, Yasuo is still picking up that pursuit of justice. He knows he needs to be able to get forward in order to cast his heroic Divine Storm.
I always really love a good Divine Storm Uther because even when it's tank, you typically see D-Shield, but I think the members of 30K are really confident in their positioning and how the team has been going so far. And you know, what's the worst case scenario? Uther gets bonked over to the enemy team backline. That's a free Divine Storm. That's something that they're going to have to be careful of on the side of can't censor ship. Our CCS team here is sending the wrong person over could spell disaster for the whole team. Right now, we're back to a little bit of a lull, just pushing out these camps, getting those lanes all cleared. This is going to be another 30K Web Weaver coming in hot.
Rexar going to be targeted down by the wraparound from Yasuo. The D-Storm catches Brightwing too. Lurking up, bought them some time, but they're struggling with the DPS. Blink Heal from Shredded Wind gets themselves out of danger. The Thanatos dropping low. Riptire to buy time. They kill off Yasuo and get away. CCS playing on the edge there, but they come out ahead. But they've immediately just got to go defend. No rest for the wicked.
Hard thing here now is they've lost their tank, their main source of engage, so this should be a relatively easy clear for CCS. We're looking to bite back here in the later half of this game. They have those heroics, and gosh darn it, they took that team fight. They're just going to clear it out here. It is a little bit of a slow clear, but, you know, one of the things that is helpful for them is all the gems are being pushed towards CCS. They have a safe way to clear. They can go back and buy their keeps. It's unfortunate that they lost these forts, but not a whole lot was gained off of this Web Weaver. We're actually going to see Ardent Defender dropped here as Liam is in a lot of big trouble. Gets interrupted, stunned out by the Misha charge. X-Ray on the side trying to help him out. Now it's Caesar Salad who's in big trouble. They end up whipping the ice wall there. Shredded Wind will come in. Massive shove. Ends up stunning X-Ray more than May here. Misha will go down. Strafe is out.
Strafe is enough to pick up the kill. The Thanatos is sniped right at the end of that fight. Caesar Salad holding the line. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but Roger is mostly uncontested. That's a good D-Storm though from Yasuo. They pick up the kill on May. Shredded Wind barely surviving. The spam pings come out. Shredded Wind and Roger get away. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of 30K. Very close fight though, back and forth.
Looked like it was really in favor there, but 30K, I mean, there's a reason that they're at the tippy top right now and several of the events going on. They know how to remain calm under pressure. They end up getting a large chunk of XP, manage to hold on to a lot of those gems, and now we're seeing a spicy boss play up here in the top. Members of CCS haven't sniffed this out yet, and at the rate it's going, they might not. It might just be a surprise play to them as they're looking to grab their own camp. They are pushing out these lanes, and now they're going to struggle with this boss.
Finally, a turn in though for CCS. This will give them some deep push, but they're going to have to put a lot of attention onto this top lane. They don't even get the siege camp. Sneaky Hasu stole it away. As such, CCS, even through their turn in, they're going to be on the defensive here.
Pretty backing it away. And I don't hate the Web Weavers here right now. This is a very safe Web Weaver. Unfortunately, they don't expect to get much here in terms of push value, but they can at least equalize the lanes and from there try to make something happen. They're still relatively healthy. There's a lot of time to go. And on Team of the Spider Queen, you actually can turtle, lose all 3 keeps, win one team fight, get a turn in, and win the game. So they get that boss all cleared out. The rest of these Web Weavers finally getting to this bottom lane here, but it should just be a tickle on those towers or that fort. Finally, it comes to a conclusion, and yep, not a whole lot of gain there.
Trying to get what they can. They bought themselves some time. That is the biggest thing they were able to earn during that deep push, like you said. So they've got quite a bit of work left to do, but they also are only 3 gems away from their next turn in, and that's going to be their chance to make their way back in. But while they're trying to grab those, while they're trying to turn in, another Bruiser camp is being taken by 30K. They're just grabbing as much value as they can. Ice Wall was dropped up in top lane. They're trying to take out Cassia, but she backed away below the towers.
Really getting her down with that double support is just too good. We're going to see the vault away to make sure nothing happens to Roger there. Great zoning for the turn, and Hasu not able to find anybody on the aggressive side there. We are going to see Valkyrie come through, does not connect. I know, in a little bit of trouble, able to fend away, but there goes Uther. You see Brightwing go down, Rexar go down, Roger now running for his life. Caesar's out trying to get out, but they are surrounded by 5 members of the enemy team. Big, massive shove into tower will secure the kill. And 30K, they've got it made in the shade. They're level 16, and all those gems they wanted to turn in, gone.
They are in serious trouble. They still have enough for their turn in, but they now have no bodies to get there, and they're about to have a couple less keeps as 30K push it in. Good concussion bites from Ivy Tings, trying to buy time, trying to delay. This is not looking the best for them right now. They are seriously under pressure. Grenades coming out. Ivy Tings trying what they can, trying to delay. And the keep will survive, but this is a bad spot for the members of CCS to be in.
Still really rough here. They just spent all those gems getting the lanes equalized, lost that team fight, and now they're right back where they started. Again, they will be able to get those gems in, but members of 30K are ready to turn in, and another team like that could end up costing them the game. So they're just going to continue to play it. So you can see Liam interrupting their turn in. They're trying to get everything they can here. Bottom camp is being taken by Cassia, and the members of CCS, all they can do is hope and wait. Look for something after this turn in.
Turning coming in, 30K setting themselves up for potentially end game conditions. They even are grabbing the siege cap again, delaying it so that it will push timed with their web weavers. You can see CCS, their reaction, move out onto the map, de-push the waves as hard as possible, maybe look for a kill. They don't have level 16 yet, but they need some time. You can see Yasu trying to pick someone up. Nothing as of yet. Interesting level 13, by the way, from Valor, going with Gloom. Not even going to go with the health regen, just spell armor, avoid the damage from Tass.
Is not the worst idea, as you said. Hasuab has just been chunking folks out here. So, makes sense that she could just spend all that hatred and not have to worry about it. These Valkyries being so artfully dodged. Liam, though, going to do lots of damage over there. Big silence coming out. Ice Wall to try and zone away folks. Junkrat is going to go down. Big heals coming out. Divine Storm has been dropped onto Roger. The team is running for their lives. Hasuab's chunking out. That middle keep has ended up going down. Middle Well Weaver will go down, but the core is still in big trouble as Misha will fall as well.
Liam is pressuring so hard. Roger has been massively isolated from the team while trying to protect that core. Shield is still up. This is defendable, but it's not looking great with Brightwing going down as well. And it's literally Liam 1v3ing right now while the rest of the team hits the core. He's delayed, but he's kind of out of mana. He's got 2 abilities left in him. Gets the sun, gets a globe, so gets the mana. Strafe to try and buy time, and it's a good kite, but Rexar's taken out. They're literally staggering deaths right now, and 30K are almost certainly going to take game number 1 in this best of 3 semi-final.
No YouTube highlight reels there, but we still have potentially 2 more games to get through, so plenty of time for CCS to come back in here. A little bit rough for them to start out, but I believe, if I remember correctly, I've been chatting with some of the fellas in the CCS community, and this is a relatively new team, so it's very, very, easy to have some early nerves there and whatnot. Now that first game is out of the way, they can look to come back.
They definitely have the opportunity to try and make their way back in, because that game, in the early game especially, it wasn't too bad for CCS, but they really just got snowballed on super hard. They just didn't have the turnaround. There's just not much they could do about it. They got pressured so hard that they weren't able to get the turnaround in the late game. Valor stacked up well and did top the damage chart by quite a bit, like an extra 4k on that Cassia, but they were never able to turn it into anything. The Junkrat is a really big key here, because the Junkrat, yes, it's supposed to be wave clear, and it did that fantastically, over 100k, but the hero damage is very underwhelming with only 18k. That's less than Yorel, and almost less than Uther.
I think the hard thing here is that, as we saw it play out, 30K really just drafted around what CCS wanted to do. You look at the Vala, the Junkrat, and the Mei. There's a lot of poke damage, not really a ton of lockdown on either side, even with the Rexar there. So they wanted to kind of just poke somebody away, but they didn't really have anyone to send in for the kills. As a result, those damage numbers are really high, but there's a reason they only got 2 kills. They just couldn't keep anybody there long enough or really send anyone after them.
Absolutely. So we have our next map by the sounds of it. We're going to be jumping in. That once again, this is a best of 3 all the way through here. And it looks like we're going to have Battlefield of Eternity. I read the map wrong there. And it is going to be the map choice of 30k, meaning can't sense the ship. Opted for first pick and first ban.
I think this will lend itself well to CCS here. It's another map where you do team fight often. Tomb of the Spider Queen, you just kind of go around, soak the lands. That off lane, not necessarily the most important, so similar on Battlefield of Eternity, but there are more opportunities for team fight, and I think that's something that CCS really excel in. So hoping they can turn it back around in game number 2.
Is hoping. We'll see what they can do, and if not 30k, they are a team. One of the big teams people were expecting to potentially qualify here. The CCS are very much the underdogs here. 30k are the big boss. They won the Icebreaker tournament for Season 2 of CCL. They're a strong team with some legendary players on it. CCS, they're fighting from behind, but they've already taken down some big teams coming in here. They took out Oxygen on the way here in a very solid match and beat out one of the Masters Clash Academy teams.
Absolutely. And, even if they end up going down to 30k, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's like, who'd you get knocked out by? Oh, Mike Tyson. Like, it happens. So, 30k, definitely a top competitor here. A lot stacked against them. If they do win, really awesome. But if they end up losing, I don't think anyone will fault them for it. But we are heading over to Battlefield of Eternity. What do you like to see on Battlefield, Tetcher? How does this differ from our most recent drafts?
So obviously we see a lot more race here. The rotation is less important, so you don't have to focus on wave clear as much. So big race heroes start to become a higher priority. These, before the most recent patch, would be your Raiders, your Valas, your Li Mings, your Greymanes, etc. In this case, Hanzo and Vala can still do it, but Vala's talent order has changed, where she gets her race at a different order now. And the Reyna has changed significantly to the point where I don't 100% know how effective on this map he is anymore. And also, he's actually got quite a low win rate these days, so potentially a little bit weaker than where he would be. So we'll have to see if they're able to make their way back into it on this map with race with heroes like the Hanzo. Or maybe they do try to fit in that Reyna, or maybe they'll just go back to the Vala. It still works.
Yeah, still really strong on there. I don't believe that many of her talents for Racing the Immortal were changed too terribly much. And even if they were, these guys are the pros. They know what they're doing there. So other things to consider are Hanzo, always a really solid pickup there. Someone we haven't seen in a while who I'd love to see, I think really excels on Battlefield of Eternity, Imperious main tank.
I would like that. It's a really strong hero, and it's something that X-Ray used to play a lot. And in the tank role, it would be interesting to see that, where they did actually do a little bit of a swap of who would play tank sometimes. We see Zarya's pop up, and they just change the tank and support player around. So perhaps we'll see that make a return this time. That burst damage to burn through some of those front lines could be solid here.
We'll have to wait and find out. It's always really interesting after a big patch, seeing how the teams are going to change. What's good now, what they consider a little bit less good, what used to be good. So we're just waiting on the teams to ready up before we hop on into the draft here. And then we'll be able to find out, give some of us normies down in the lower league a better idea of what we should be looking to play on the map.
Absolutely. And there's one hero who we haven't actually mentioned during either of these games, but was played earlier on in the tournament in the other streamed games, and that is Stitches. He has been seen a couple times, and also his win rate and his stock has very much gone up since the recent patch. So maybe we will see him materialize. This is a map that can go really long. Like, this is a map where you could lose both keeps and the game can last an extra 10 minutes because the wave clear isn't too difficult and you have to wait for the objective a lot of the time. So maybe this is a map where we'll see the Abomination pop his way in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, heroes like Malfurion were recently rising in priority. They got that Emerald Dreams talent. And now this is an even more deadly combo. The original used to be, you'd hook somebody, you'd put the Malfurion just a little bit further ahead. But now the root immediately roots in the middle and it sleeps. That's like 4 seconds to kill somebody if your team isn't sleeping. So Malf Stitches definitely could come on through. You could even couple it with the Immortal Stun there. And there's a lot that can be done. I feel like our hero pools are definitely opening up more, which is really awesome every time Blizzard drops a patch.
Absolutely. It's always nice to see. Speaking of seeing, we see something interesting in the players here as we are heading into the draft. We have a bit of a roster swap from the members of CCS, where Shredded Wind has swapped out for Xenorus, with Xenorus coming in for this game number 2. This is a 6-man roster, so they're bringing in a little bit of a substitute to see if that can change their fortunes.
I'm interested to see how this is going to play out because Xenorus plays a lot of support, but they also play a lot of off lanes. So Nathanatos going to support this time around, and Xenorus swapping. I'm assuming that they will support just based on who was swapped out, but still, you never know.
Very true. Nathanatos is another one, like you say, who plays multiple roles. Tanked a lot, quite a few games back in the day. Also supports every now and again. They've got a lot of flexibility on this team, so we'll see which way they choose to go with that. But now, though, first ban coming in for CCS. Let's see where they're going to start. Will they start with any of those races? Or are we going to start with heroes like Medivh or anything like that? Nope, it's going to be Uther! Still ban-worthy! Hooray!
Makes sense to me. It was really devastating in the last series, so go ahead and get him out. Chromie, another hero who just hasn't been touched. She hasn't picked up as much anymore, but I honestly feel like that's because the community decided they were tired of dealing with her. They were tired of playing with her. They were tired of banning her. So a lot of folks were like, you know what, let's just pretend this doesn't exist anymore. But at the top tier play, she is still really good. So getting rid of her. Potential Vala ban coming through. Maybe. Nope. Cassia this time around.
Cassia, very sensible again. It was very scary last time. It was doing a lot of split pushing, which isn't the most common thing. But there was a lot of pressure coming in onto the off lane, so it's a sensible removal here if you don't want to deal with that hyper macro star. And of course, that's just the insanely hard to kill assassin. Outside of maybe Tychus, maybe the hardest to kill less than mobile assassin in the game. So obviously we're looking at the hardest to kill assassin in the game. It's probably Genji, because if you don't stun him, he leaves.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways for him to get away. But we are going to see Vala banned away. This time, though, Xenorus will be in that support role, picking up the Lucio.
Makes sense. Lucio's still very strong. He has had some stuff done to his mixing fire heroic, which was a big part of his power spike, but it doesn't stop High Five still being really good. Having 4 cleanses is nothing to sniff at. 8 cleanses if you count the fact that Lucio cleanses himself every time he does it. So not a bad choice to pick him up here. Hogger, who we haven't actually seen too often, but is still widely considered to be a strong hero, and we're going to get to see that Reyna, Jinxie.
Yeah, another hero that was nerfed away. All these heroes were nerfed in some way, but obviously, the numbers don't necessarily matter. Their kits are still really powerful. Hogger is still takes camps really fast. Reyna still clears really fast. Obviously, those things have been changed around. My biggest question here is, are we going to see any lone talent?
Ooh, we'll have to see. You would be trading out the Exterminator for that, so you would miss a little bit of that Immortal Race, but the actual damage output, especially on a hero like Muradin, could be ridiculous. So we're probably going to see Exterminator, but I do like lone talents. I'm one of the few people who like lone talents, even though they are anti-endorphins in my brain, but if I'm able to keep them, they're the most satisfying thing, and I like that. Speaking of race, though, no lone talents on that Li Ming. She has all her damage up front as she comes in as the race for the side of CCS.
Tychus banned away, and I'm curious since Li Ming has been shown. Obviously, there's still 1 more damage and an off lane to pick up here, but a lot of teams are pretty familiar with the Deathwing off lane. Can't find my words today, just all over myself, too excited for the event. But, maybe looking for a Deathwing. It could be that Tychus is just absolutely insane at shredding tanks.
I possibly will have to see. Tychus is also a very solid hero into that Hogger. They're going to ban a noob, though. That is sensible. When you see that Tychus removed, you start to look at which tanks are more hardly punished by that Tychus. And those are Diablo, as you already mentioned, Deathwing, less of the tank role, but still a very highly counted hero. The Hogger, who's already picked, and a Nubarak, because a Nubarak has a very low hit wimple. So if you start to melt him very quickly, then he dies very quickly. So it's a solid ban out here, removing that hard engage.
Diablo coming through, as we had mentioned. And then there's the Hanzo that we were talking about earlier.
That's a lot of race from the side of 30k. They also have some great burst here. If they can land those scatter arrows or even just those storm bows, the actual solid kill potential they have here is gonna be very problematic, with Lucio having that high 5 but not having the best burst healing. So there's gonna have to be a lot of positioning work done by Can't Censor ship to stay alive. So they pick people who can stay alive by themselves. Yarel, very hyper tanky and hard to kill, and Greymane does have a little bit of armor, a little bit of mobility, a little bit of race. It's a safe option here.
A really solid kill combo here. Usually we see this with a Varian, but on 2-lane maps it can be really hard to get to that level 4, and you end up giving away too much. With a Muradin, you have kind of the same ability coming through here. You have the stun, which locks him in place. You can have Greymane damage, Leeming damage, of course. Once you get to level 10, you have Cursed Bullet. So lots of easy kill here on the side of CCS if they're able to get that lockdown down.
They also have the potential to go for the Sledgehammer here, where if they're concerned about their race, Leeming and Greymane is a very good race, but on the other side is insane too, so if they need that little extra kick, Sledgehammer, that 300% damage to non-heroes is going to be very helpful if that's the talent they decide to go. They do obviously miss out on some good setup talents on level 4, but when the Immortal is so important on this map, not the worst thing.
I mean, it doesn't matter how fast you race if the enemy team is dead. We'll have to see if that's how it works out as we head on into game number 2 in our best of 3 series.
Absolutely. Remember, the map is Battlefield of Eternity. This is a best of 3 semi-final. Winner will join Wild Heart Esports in qualifying for DreamHack Beyond. On the left-hand side, it is going to be CCS with Ivy Tings on that Greymane, Xenorus on the Lucio, Caesar Salad on the Muradin, and chilling in mid lane, we're going to have that Li Ming, who is being played by Roger, and Yarel, being played by Nathanatos.
And over rocking those orange health bars, it's going to be 30k with Hasuabs rocking that Hanzo this time. Diablo will be played by X-Ray. Liam is going to be your Hogger. Dino on that Rainer. And Yasuo will be your Stukov here. Hogger hiding it out right now. Nobody running straight to the lane. They're all playing very carefully, trying not to get picked off in the early way, which is how we see folks of this level play the early game.
Yasuo's setting a little bit of a trap to see if anyone overextends so that they can follow up on Diablo's hard engage. Instead, he's going to bop a couple auto attacks even. Trades out. Diablo charges a minion. X-Ray looking for the swap. Gets it onto Ivy Tings. There's no capitalization here. And Jinxie, it's lone talents, baby. Veteran marksman for the Rainer.
Oh. I was kind of memeing a little bit because I didn't think that we'd actually see it, but I think this really goes in with how much confidence Dino and the 30k boys have in that they don't feel like they're going to go down. It's an absurd amount of damage, obviously, that will allow them to scale, as sometimes BOE can go a little bit longer, as you were talking about earlier, even if you don't have any keeps. So I'm going to look to try and play it a little bit differently this time around. Lots of damage coming on to X-Ray. We're going to see that silence drop by Yasuo. And so far, a lot more brawling than we saw in the last game.
Of course, for those who do not know the new Veteran Marksman, it gives you 60% bonus, give them some pepper damage as baseline on that level 1 talent. But every time you die, you lose 15% of that bonus. So then every auto on you'll give them some pepper onto a hero gives you an extra 0.75% of damage. It's a solid amount of damage output if you stay alive, and that's what Dino is hoping for here.
Camp clear on the side of CCS, I just want to point out, is absolutely absurd. We did see a really great hammer there from Caesar Salad to prevent X-Ray from coming in. They're able to snatch that up really quickly, so they'll have just a little bit of extra push time here. And I think with the team being as quick as they can, we're actually going to see Greymane head off to that bruiser camp by themselves here. Actually, Lucio heading on as well. Liam getting started. Dino is on the prowl, picking these up early so they can try and clear them before the Immortal, try and see if they can't fight each other in these little bit of extra damage that they get from the camps here. Have to see what they're looking to do.
Olga finishes out the camp. Dino uses the opportunity to get some free stacks, getting a little bit of extra stuff done up there. He's gone for that level 4 fight or flight. Very reasonable. Don't want to die. Has 25 armor sound. Delay on the cap by CCS. They want as minimal amount of time spent clearing it as possible. So they try and make sure that 30k is to focus on the Immortal instead. 30k, though, they're set up in the bot lane already, potentially looking to go a little bit more aggressive, as that's where the Immortal is. Let's say they're just going to try and multitask this.
I think it's a great play by them there. They can come down and push it out whenever needed, but that halftime already realized while the rest of the team is racing away, and they're actually not too far behind. But 30K, they just know where to be when they need to be there and just knock it down.
Aggressive positions. Liam's going to try and delay IB takes, but there's the charge onto Caesar Salad, but the Immortal Stun does not land. Remember, Dino is the one who has to stay alive here. Stun onto Hasu. Takes the escape over the wall, stays alive. Lots of stuns coming onto Yasu here. It's all about this defense, but there's no one counter-racing here because Ivy Tinks was zoned off. He's now going to make his way back on, though, because Hogger and Raider have got the split zone.
Try and see what they can accomplish here. Great race coming out by Roger and Ivy Tings, like you said. X-Ray in a little bit of a precarious position. We're going to see Liam hop in there. X-Ray getting solo on the side. Fighting under the Immortal can be deadly, and it does end up going over to the side of the blue team with just 300 health points left. That's like one auto attack from Hanzo here. Yasu, though, not out of the woods yet. Stunned out, will end up going down. X-Ray looking for revenge, but Caesar Salad is able to get away. Xenaris, though, is not. Neither is Roger, and they are looking for blood as Ivy Tings will go down as well.
They lose the objective, but Liam finds the perfect bounce and just eats everyone. Quadruple kill. Nice angle, says IB Tiggs. And yeah, it was. Liam tears them up. This Immortal's going to get shredded by Yasu and Dino. They will clear that up. What a fight at the end there. Both towers are still grabbed, but that's a full level lead with those kills, going over to 30K.
Continue to grab this camp and just look to push it on in. The first Immortal, not necessarily the most powerful. That is a common theme with a lot of these objectives here. So they get the Immortal, they clear it out, lickety split, they find those kills. And I think that level lead is going to be really, really helpful to them. They're just going to be able to continue to push in, and if they get those Heroics first, then it's going to be really hard for CCS to try and contest any of these later Immortals.
The Heroics are going to be so hard to deal with as well. You look at Diablo, they've gone for a Malevolence here, which could definitely lead into Eva Heroic, but Eva 1's going to set up so well for Raider here, who's gone into heavy slugs, extra slow, so to potentially keep anyone in the ABOC or the Lightning Breath. Be very problematic. They get that Dragon Arrow. Great follow-up as well. There's so many tools they have. Dino stacks in peril as Caesar Salad and Thanatos threaten. Liam and Yasu in position. Zone them away.
Everybody is up here, and I have to wonder, you know, do pros kind of feel the same way about these lone talents that we do, where it ends up becoming kind of, you know, the old joke, Mochus for Alice. Like, you see him, you're just like, kill him, reduce the stacks, and then some clowning can ensue, and they're chasing it, doing a lot of damage. Yasu gonna get low in the back. Their X-Ray, though, gonna pop on in. Dino is back as well. All 5 members dueling it out here. Hogger up from the top. Great stun coming out. Their X-Ray is low. The silence making it hard to leave. Diablo gonna be the first to go down. Iptingso is so very low. Hogger is here. He's gonna run away. Gets away there. Raider will go down. Oh, that's the 15%.
One down, back down to 45% bonus damage. The snipes with Triumphate coming in from Roger there, really saving the day, and as such, they're going to get a huge head start on this Immortal, poking away. They've gone for Boombox as well, so they've got the vision, they've got the scout. They can just do this so safely now. This is great for CCS.
Great plays there. I can't discount 30K, though. IB Tanks had to back away. Caesar Salad in a little bit of peril there, but will be able to jump away. Stormbolt just for added pressure there. You can see a little bit of race coming through. And a lot of it was negated by the fact that Greymane was just so low, he couldn't go back in. Halftime hasn't been reached just yet as 30K are making huge headway here. But Yasu in a little bit of a tough spot there. We're going to see APOC come out. Dragon Arrow was already used up. Thanatos looking for blood. Great massive swipes there. 30K going to be able to head out as Hortapult comes just to finish the job.
Hortapult very nicely done here. Raider having to back away. Already lost 1 stack. Doesn't want to lose any more. Halftime show. That's still all that was. All that posturing, all that hard aggression was all for the halftime show due to the zoning of 30K and the retreat by the members of CCS. But they're still moving back in. IBTs need to be very careful where they stand against this Diablo. Angle is found. Start 1 with Malevolence, but the quick high 5 shuts it down.
Also going to see that cursed bullet come out there. Camp was taken in the top, so now CCS are on a timer. They're going to try and race down, getting quite a bit of damage in here. There is no counter race yet on the side of 30K. Li Ming is poking all the way from Narnia. Feels very safe in the back here. Another team fight breaking out. The rest of the members, they can't really step in just yet.
Down.
On the Thanatos going for an adventure.
Trying to get away, getting chased down here. The Thanatos stun one. Xenarus coming in, speed boost and disengage. That's another Immortal going over to CCS, but this time they don't all die for it. So much better for them. They're creeping back in terms of XP. A full level lead has turned into a half level lead for 30K. CCS creeping back into this game.
Interestingly enough, they left IB Tinks up in the top to clear and get some other push out when the Thanatos is guiding it around, going to come through. And I think this is a really smart decision by CCS. You're going to see the APOC combo come out, but Xenarus high five shuts it all down. X-Ray in a little bit of trouble. Master Swipes and Hyperion will come out as well. This fort is going down.
Good charge, protecting Die now there. X-Ray really on point to try and protect that backline. Knockback comes in though, and X-Ray will perish for it. Tries their best, but there's no way out of that. Too much pressure, too much damage. X-Ray goes down. Hi Liam, how you doing? Gonna knock everyone back. Not gonna be able to turn that into a counter engage though.
Drop the Hortipult there after X-Ray went down. It is relatively low cooldown, so maybe just making sure that the squishy members of the team can get out. But I'm really, really liking how CCS are playing this. You know, they shook themselves off after game number 1, and they are doing a solid job around here. We've heard talks before in the past of how, you know, we used to always say, Diablo, he's the counter to Lucio because Lucio needs to be on a wall. I don't feel like that's the case so much anymore. This is a high kill pressure comp from 30K here. Hold that thought as Yasuo's in a lot of trouble. Not going to be able to get away there. Didn't even have, or had their heroic, wasn't able to use it. And as such, will go down. However, Roger is taking his compensation.
Extra nice there. X-Ray coming in with the kill. The rest of the team will retreat, although Caesar Salad looking back in. I completely agree with what you said. Lucio used to be countered by Diablo, but now with high five deals with that CC so well. But if you're not in position for that high five, stuff like what just happened to Li Ming can absolutely happen, especially with a Malevolence Diablo. And now with that stacking damage. But it's still gonna be, even with the kill going over to 30K, this fort still getting pressured and still will likely fall with the nice use of the boombox to buy a little bit of extra cap time. Great penetrating rounds there by dying out to reset the camp aggro and to stop them hitting the fort.
At that point, the fort is basically dead. You don't have the catapults, you don't have that extra XP, but it's dead. There's not a safe place to retreat there. Another beautiful camp clear. We're looking for that virulent reaction. Not going to find it. Caesar Salad taking quite a bit of a beating there. Has to pop the avatar and is still under a lot of pressure. Liam, though, has to Hortipult out as he ends up spinning to the wrong part of town.
Liam is flanking from the other side, though, causing issues. He was already knocked back once by Die. Now Dragonara comes out. Sidestepped by the members of CCS. They'd already backed away. As we see both teams move into defensive positions. Fountain's gonna be picked up by 30K. They took a little bit more of a wallop in that fight. That gives a bit of a head start over to CCS.
This is kind of just what I was talking about earlier, is there is a lot of insane kill pressure on the side of 30K. I mean, we just saw it up in the top lane with Li Ming. However, Xenarus is really shutting it down. They really can only walk at folks unless they find that Diablo shadow charge there. And as such, Xenarus is making it so much harder, and it's making it even easier for them to chase. And Thanatos is going to jump in the back, do lots of damage there before the team backs away. They've almost got this halftime. So they can just head back, hit their own fountains, and then continue to defend from here.
CCS, they are in control and they're holding control. We're seeing these stuns from Liam. So far, the Urel from either team has seemingly been a very big deciding factor as the Thanatos is causing so many problems. Double stun. They're looking for Die Down, try and lose some of them stacks, but they can't get it. Instead, X-Ray will be dropped. Yasu is completely isolated, and now they turn the attention to Die Down. Good penetrating round again, though. Keeps Die Down alive, and it might be Liam who is the one to fall. Hortipult gets him out. But this is again CCS snowballing through. They get the halftime show and they are in full control.
It's just so hard for 30K to find their footing right now. Lucio can get folks in and out. Li Ming just chunking away. And then, of course, you know, Yrel, as you mentioned, constantly just in their back line, especially against this Diablo. It's really, really devastating because you don't offer peel. You go in, you try to find the kill, but when your assassins aren't there to follow up, now you've got this kind of split where Yrel is in the back, she's killing your assassins because she's so tanky, she does so much damage, and then your front line is dying to the enemy team's assassins because Diablo by himself, after he's done his 1-2 combo, that's his only bullet.
And Yrel, not just that, has the extra burst damage as well with Felon's Chosen, and now 7% damage with that Templar's Verdict. Like you say, it's going to be so much of an issue to deal with it on that backline. Caesar Salad hunting for kills. Good scale by Hatsu, but this is all about the defense now. Boombox getting shifted over the wall there.
The boombox was changed recently. You actually get 5 armor if you're near the boombox, so
nice.
Trying to get it a little bit more value there. They're going to jump in and continue to harass away here. The members of 30K can only hide back, and the big thing they have to remember here is it's okay to lose this keep. You can come back from losing a keep. You cannot lose heroes. If you lose heroes, then that gives the other team an opportunity to end the game. So they're going to end up losing this keep here. I think that's the right move for them, and they're just going to try and chuck it away. The members of CCS know they can't get much more else, so they're going to back out.
They finish off the Immortal, keeping it safe. 30K still in this game. This is, as we mentioned, a map where you can 100% lose everything and still win the game. The tower seems to be getting some confusion as to whether that boombox should be targetable or not. That is very interesting. Cap already taken, but it's still hunting a kill. Finds him! Stun combo takes me.
Big root combo coming after Caesar Salad, but this time Xenars was in position. This fort now under some huge pressure. X-Ray is very low. They don't have a wave to step up here. And with their tank being so low, they're going to be able to get it to about 33%. While they wait, they're going to clear out this camp, have those minions come back through, and then end up grabbing that there. But meanwhile, CCS, they're getting stuff done elsewhere. You can see Nathanatos up in the top is just going to continue to split push away. And if they allow this, all right, Liam's on his way. That's a fort for a keep, which isn't a great trade out.
All right, looks like we're going to see what happens here with Liam clearing out the wave, trying to hold the line for the moment. Xenarus just trying to hold back for the moment, keeping Caesar Salad safe. He's got that high five ready.
Everyone is just being so cautious right now. They're posturing, they're looking for somebody. A death right now could be disastrous for either team. Immortals are spawning in 30 seconds. Only the bruiser camps available to be picked up. Nobody even thinking about invading because they cannot lose a hero right now. Just gonna play it safe, grab these camps, and then hopefully look for somebody underneath the safety of their own immortal.
Going to be seeing waves cleared out by both teams, but it's top lane that is pressured the most by 30K. There's the stun. They get a good amount of damage there onto the Muradin and stop him jumping away, but Xenarus is in position, keeps Caesar Salad safe here, and this is going to allow him to re-engage. The healing of Caesar Salad is just so fast.
This is the first time that CCS, though, hasn't really been in position. They're going to do a lot of damage to Nathanatos, but of course, once again, the heal from that high five is going to help them get out of trouble there. Now, they're just going to be on the defense a little bit, because 30K does race incredibly fast as well. So, just hanging out right now. They drop the silence, get a little bit extra damage. There's going to be that APOC combo coming out with the Dragon Arrow. Dragon Arrow a little bit behind, though, so giving everybody a chance to scatter away.
That means all of their big cooldowns are burnt. 80 seconds on that APOC and maybe longer on Diablo, or less time, 4 seconds because he lost the souls. Audible into the backline as Yasuo is being focused really hard right now. He's tanking through as best he can, but there's the leaving reset. And now Hasu and Dyna are in serious trouble, getting chased down. Reset number 2. Diablo back from the grave. Liam over the side. They try to turn onto the Thanatos under the towers. Hog Wild buys them time and everyone else out, but it's a 2-for-0.
Really nicely done by CCS there. Find the pick that they need. They can go and continue to race. Meanwhile, though, this Fallen Shaman hasn't been dealt with, so somebody is going to have to come back. We're actually going to see Yrel head back that way now, finally deal with it. But that front wall took quite a beating during all that.
It's a lot of pressure was applied there, and as such, with a almost 50% shield immortal, They need to try and potentially end this now, because otherwise with that front wall getting beaten down, it opens up the opportunity for 30k if they get that team wipe to make their way back in and try and turn this into their favor. That is a very healthy Immortal, and with level 20 still a level and a half away for 30k and available for CCS, this could be the end. Let's see if they can close this out.
Gonna be really hard here. Level 20, the most powerful talent in the game. There's a reason you don't take down these 20 fights, but 30k are gonna have to look for a miracle. They're gonna try and fight behind this Immortal. And the members of CCS, though, they're ready for it. They know that this is the ride or die situation for 30k. So they're coming around looking for Hasu. There's going to be the A pocket. Catches nothing. Oh, the dragon arrow doesn't connect either. Diablo will go down. Doesn't have souls back. Yasu running for his life. Hyperion Dino is trying to stay alive, but once again will fall. Hasu was buying time. But at this point, the members of CCS don't care. They're going to take out Liam. They're going to push through this keep. And I think we're looking at the beginning of the end here, Tetcher.
Asu's trying to burn down the Immortal from the side, but there's going to be no such luck. He can kill the Immortal, but he can't kill the team, and he won't even kill the Immortals. The turn from Roger and Xenorus. That's going to be game number 2, going over to Can't Censor ship. And we are 1-1 in this series, Jinxie. Winner moves on to the finals and qualifies for DreamHack Beyond.
What an absolutely awesome series. I was a little bit worried here after the first game that, maybe the members of a CCS were just out of their element, not really being exposed to a tournament of this grandeur. But luckily for them, they found their footing and they chomped them this time around. 15 kills to 6.
They really did. A dominant position. The Greymane, you don't see him too often there, but it seemed to do the job setting up for Roger on that Li Ming. Reset after reset. But a lot of that really just came down to those arcane orbs, just finding the perfect angle. Diablo, X-Ray didn't really do anything wrong in that game. He was just pressured so hard that he's backing up into his team so that they're getting hit by the orbs as well. It's the only way he can go. But it's the insane amount of just oppressive damage that we saw from the members of CCS there. Well played. I'm excited for game number 3.
Me too. Lots of different, possibilities here. Both teams backs against the wall.
Let's see what they can do. We're going to be getting ready for a map number 3 as soon as possible, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited. Remember, the winner of this is already going to be qualified for DreamHack Beyond. They will qualify alongside the teams from Qualifier 1, which are Simplicity and Stonk, who are now known as Diamond Hands, and Wildheart, who qualified in this cup as well. So those will be our first 4 qualified teams. And after that, the next qualifier will be in 2 weeks' time, which will be cast by the lovely person to my, probably the wrong way, had a go, 50-50 bet, didn't get it. Going to be cast by the lovely Jinxie Cat and Crow, which is going to be awesome. I am excited for that because I get to watch one of these. Feels good.
Yeah, it's been a minute since me and Crone casted together, so that'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to this third match even more. I mean, where do you go from here? Obviously, we saw the team fight from CCS is monstrous. They did have a really good mind about getting those camps in line too. So, what are you thinking? If this was you, Tetcher, where would you go?
I will tell you where I would go. I would go on a break so I have time to think of a really good answer, and the players would likely go on a break as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, I'll have the best possible answer because I would have had time to think about it, and we will have game number 3 of this semi-finals to decide who qualifies for DreamHack Beyond. See you all in a bit.
Subscribe to Tetcher.
Ad over.
Alrighty, hello and welcome back. Thanks so much for sticking around, folks. We head into game number 3, our final game of the evening. My name is Jinxie Cat. With me is the lovely Tetcher. And where are we going for game number 3?
Ooh, I think it would be a really good idea if we went to Infernal Shrines. That would be... Oh, look at that! I definitely didn't know this
Oh,
beforehand.
my goodness.
I am the smartest banner.
You are
This is
so
me.
good.
The most humble and most honest. No, absolutely. They picked it while we were on break. So, Infernal Shrines, a map chosen in this case by 30k. Which is interesting by the looks of it. Choosing to go for the map choice instead of the first pick. This means that they believe that the map was a bigger factor here. And we look at the two maps. We had a macro map and a micro and a team fight map. So they have chosen to go for a... Wait, no, I've got that wrong. Sorry, this was picked by Censor Ship. So Censor Ship opting to go for a little bit more of a macro map this time.
You love to see it, you know? I think this is a really good culmination of both of them. You've got to find around the shrines. You've got to grab those camps. So there's ways that both the teams can excel here. It is one of the probably most favored maps in any kind of tournament setting. There's a lot that can be done here. You can snowball. You can come back. So tons and tons of opportunities. The biggest thing you can't do is get ganked, because 9 times out of 10, that's what ends your run here. Is, you know, you find the offlane out. You gank them 3 times, and then you just don't come back from that.
Absolutely. You got to avoid those big kills. In this case, we're going to start off with a hero who would prevent ganks very well. It is that Medivh. No surprise there. And honestly, you mentioned it, I wouldn't be surprised to see Uther for the exact same reason. Also the fact that he was really good when we saw him last.
Yeah, definitely. I think the big thing here, though, is we need to see something done about that Lucio. There we go.
There he is. Well predicted. So, with Lucio and Medivh banned out, if we see Uther banned out, it's like we're back in last patch again. Nothing has changed. Hooray. But we'll have to see if that's the way they choose to go, or if they will choose to go a different way. That Cassia was also very, very powerful last time, so maybe we'll see CCS ban that when it comes around to their next ban. Or maybe we'll... This is the best Li Ming maps, potentially another mage. It's going to be the Chromie taken away from Roger this time. That is very sensible.
And 30k not wanting to deal with that Chromie, even though this isn't necessarily her best map. A lot of folks would argue, Chromie, Li Ming, they get less value here. So Uther's still available. This is a Hogger's best map, so we'll see if that comes through. And, you know, something... Sonya maybe as well coming through here, despite the fact that she hasn't been touched at all, but it's going to actually be Stukov.
True. Sonya, of course, got hit with some pretty solid nerfs recently, so we'll see if she does make her way in. The Stukov ban is interesting. He is, of course, the support that works the best with Uther, with the second one being that Lucio. Uther is still going to be picked up first by the side of 30k. Again, they can always run it as main support. Other supports that work really well with Uther, Malfurion and Brightwing, also work very effectively. So we'll see if that's the path they wish to go down, or whether we'll see solo support Uther making a return.
Lots of different ways for him to go indeed. They're being very thoughtful about these first 2 picks, but this time around, they will grab the Hogger and the Cassia, something they banned out in game number 2 because it really just wrecked. And we saw, you know, it has the split push potential, so why not pick it up this time round?
That opens up the Yrel, potentially for 30k. So far, the team with Yrel has won both games. So we'll see if they choose to, 30k choose to go down that route once again, get that disruption going. Again, it's really good as an engage replacement for Uther, who has the power of running. However, not going to see that. Instead, Malthael coming in here. Someone who has a much better 1v1 matchup into that Hogger. And they get the Anubarak, someone who can try and blockade that Cassia and has a bit more of a backline dive to deal with her as the game goes on.
Always really interesting to me whenever you see a Anubarak picked up and we're only seeing a sustained auto attacker picked up, you know, like the Cassia, because a lot of Anubaraks, I can't think of the word right now, but what people entice him to, why people are enticed to play him is that spell armor. So usually against a mage, you see it picked up. Now, lots of wave players still to be decided here, so potentially a mage may come out here, and the members of 30k are just Galaxy Brain ready in advance. We'll have to see. I'm really curious about the early Anubarak when things like Diablo are available, May, you know, even Johanna really has a place here.
We can, of course, lead a little bit of that towards preferences as well. X-Ray very much likes this Anubarak, and it very much commits them more to a jump and burst style, with a little bit of flexibility onto those assassins as the game goes on. So we can lead a little bit of that towards personal preferences as well, but obviously you are right, there are a lot of other tanks that could be fitting into this draft. Let's see if CCS can punish them for this very squishy frontliner of a noob. Uther makes up for a bit of that, but the noob is still vulnerable. Polly, punish a noob, he dives in, Polly him out, and May, great for zoning the Anubarak, but a noob can cause May some difficulties by also doing the exact same thing to her.
A lot of melee, though, on the side of 30k right now. So potentially an Avalanche game. Ice Wall still really strong as well, though. I'm eager to see what their damage is going to be, because these are a lot of big beefy boys running at you. And there we go. There's their range. Junkrat and Sylvanas are picked up here.
Great for the objective race. They have a ridiculous amount of clear now to try, and also some percentage damage if Syl chooses to go for it to deal with that Hogger. So they've got some options. They've got Malthael and potentially Sylvanas. If not, the spell power will still be very effective. Now, how do they counteract that? Cassie's already on the board for CCS. It's very effective. And so far, they wouldn't be too punished for maybe picking up a Tychus. They're going to go with Maiev. Potentially still percentage damage, but also sets them up for what could be just a CC train. Pulling people in and punishing them with Hogger bounces on the objective, Cassia Ball Lightning, and of course May CCing everyone in that area could be insane. And if not, that Containment Disc on Uther could shut down every bit of sustain that 30k have.
Absolutely. I really like this into this big front line, because we look at it, it's a lot of melee running at you. Anubarak does have the longest engage in the game, so potentially why they picked him up for that. Maybe looking to poke him down and then going for the kill with him. But Maiev coming in, able to just grab them all and then bring him back. Only thing that concerns me, though, is Uther, that's a known counter to Maiev. She tries to walk in at you, and you can just point and click stunner.
The possibility is there. We will have to see which one comes out on top. In the bottom lane, pretty sure that's our observer. Excellent. So, looks like we're going to be jumping into game number 3. Winner will qualify for DreamHack Beyond to go on to the finals to play against Wildheart. Jixie, who's this on the left?
Over here on the left, we have the members of CCS, with Zinaris rocking that for right wing. We're going to see Caesar Salad on the May, IB Tings will be your Maiev, Roger on the Cassia, and Nathanatos will be your Hogger.
And on the right-hand side, in the orange trucks, it is going to be 30k. Observer, catch up. We're going to see the team of Liam on that Malthael, Hasuob's on the Junkrat, Yasuwu is on the Uther, X-Ray is going to be playing that Anubarak. Dying out, trying to finish off IB Tings on their Sylvanas, but quick blink away there. Nicely done. No first blood.
Maiev is really hard to lock down, especially right at the beginning when she has everything available. That Vault of the Wardens on a 15-second cooldown, I believe. They're going for it a second time around. Caesar Salad is going to pop that Cryo Freeze that would be able to get away. Lots of CC lined up for a very early aggressive 30k.
X-Ray, like you say, so aggressive. Look at that positioning as the burrow charge to get out of there, out of that pressure. So we are seeing both teams really trying to look for kills at this early stage of the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see IB Tings going for that percentage damage build for exactly that reason. And Uther has very sensibly gone for the Wave of Light to try and help deal with this. Get that extra armor duration to try and counteract this hyper-aggression.
Gonna worry about getting these camps right now. They've taken a break from trying to blow everybody up. Not necessarily the fastest camp clear in the world, so this will be an invade coming in here. And one thing that CCS excel at are that point control. We're gonna see it right here coming through. Uther taking quite the beating there, but if he dies, not the end of the world. Maiev will finish that off. Great push away by that Junkrat mine. However, free camp over to the side of Can't Censor ship.
The ghost heals from Uther barely keeping X-Ray alive, but not enough to fight on through. They still have to retreat. Great camp steal. Like you said, delay was good, but the race was not. So they were able to slow down the members of CCS, but they weren't able to stop them arriving into that bottom lane. As such, very slightly earlier level 4 coming in for the side of CCS, but Dynow, he's making sure that those waves don't get too much value, even dropping a black arrows on them. He hasn't gone for that mercenary queen, so it is more of a focus onto the unstable poison, so he does have the black arrows, he wants to stable mercs.
Unstable Poison will also help them on the Shrine. I believe that the Skeletal Defenders do explode with that, even though it specifies minions. Okay, minions, mercs, and summons. So despite not saying monsters, I'm pretty sure that it does blow them up. This is where we see Unstable Poison the most, and that would have to be my guess why. Typically, we do end up seeing that possession instead, just due to the fact that you don't really have a lot of off time to push, and that the possession will help folks otherwise. So we'll have to see as we go on to our first shrine here. It's getting all loaded up. A little bit of an aggressive play from both teams here, but the Chattering Teeth will shut down Caesar Salad, and the first early start is going over to the side of 30k.
Caesar Salad going to eat a lot of percentage damage from that Reaper's Mark from Liam after a great concussion mine from Hasu. Here comes the permabout. It's not a permabout, sorry. This is a temporary bounce on this particular objective. Caesar Salad backing up, but he's trading out some health. He's getting healed back up. Dynow, who didn't go percentage damage, still melting them down. 25-6 currently in favor of 30k. And it looks like we're just going to see CCS abandon this. Hogger's already back at top lane.
I think this was the right choice by them. They're going to have to wait a little while longer for their wave clear to really ramp up. And having that rough position there really struggled, I think, especially since, you know, Nathanatos, they got the bounce, and it wasn't necessarily an angles thing that shut him down. It was a health thing. He was full of poison, had to be healed away. We're going to see this tanked out by Caesar Salad here before they push it away. Sylvanas, of course, shutting down with the black arrows, but still not a lot garnered just yet.
So much extra damage here. Like you say, they're going to get both towers, but not much else. Good defense from the members of Can't Censorship here. Nice little stun onto Roger. Knock onto Dynow. And a Polly stopping him from getting that haunting wave, but no follow-up here. I was just going to run away and back out here. On the other side, that Malthael going with Die alone. He's really committed just to making Hogger's day bad. And it's then gone for Massacre for that team fight to combo with that extra percentage, 8% damage every time you Wraith Strike in at level 16.
Judging by Malthael's build and the fact that we have an Uther on the team, do you think this may be a chance for a Tormented Souls game, Tetcher? You're better in the offlane than I am.
I think this is more likely going to be a Last Rites game. As much as I do love Tormented Souls, we very rarely see it when there isn't some kind of nano boost or something similar on the team. In this case, it's completely fine to trade out a Last Rites for something like a Brightwing Telly if you can get that TP lower down. Just to make sure that you don't hit Maev with it, because she will live. Hogger, take it out up in the top lane. And Malthael's having no trouble killing anyone at the moment, so I think we're going to see Last Rites, but I would be happy to be proved wrong, because I love Tormented Souls.
Never really get to see it anymore ever since they nerfed that armor on it. He is just going to be able to nope away thanks to that Telly in his base kit. Heading on back there. The rest of the team still just pushing away, though, on the side of CCS. Both teams playing safely here while they wait for their heroic abilities.
Junkrat mixing it up here. There is Last Rites, by the way, but Junkrat mixing it up. Not going to go with the sticky wicket, that silence on his Chattering Teeth, on that steel trap. Instead, going for Big Ass, where in this case, he gets 15 armor reduction and an extra 50% trap radius. Going for more of a blow-up style than a zoning disable style to get those stacks of blow 'em up at level 1.
Big thing here to also consider is that this no longer hits minions now, so only heroes can turn off the trap. Nearly getting it into May. Actually, Caesar Salad ends up walking into that trap themselves and takes quite a bit of damage there. No kill just yet. Teams hitting level 10 almost simultaneously. And gosh darn it, I was really hoping that we'd have a super fun D-Shield or Tormented Souls, but it is going to be Divine Storm this time around. It is the last right. Kuhn coming out as well here. And then for May, we were wondering about the Avalanche. It's Ice Walt this time around.
Still going to stick with the more standard Ice Wall in this case. I would have liked to have potentially seen Avalanche against the Uther, just he runs at you, goodbye. But in this case, using Ice Wall for similar purposes. We're going to see also that Warden's Cage. We don't go for that disable onto Uther with the containment disc. Everything else, pretty standard. We rarely see the Shockwave from the Hogger these days, but we're sticking with Hornepult. Valkyrie is pretty interchangeable at this point with the Ball Lightning. And of course, Blink Heal. We almost never see Emerald win. Good knockback by Hasu. Trying to focus on the Caesar Salad. Ice Wall is dodged. Riptire. Wait for it. Wait for it. And he lives for now. Brightman coming in for the saves. Caesar Salad tanking through, but there's too much damage from Liam.
Almost coming through. Caesar Salad will end up going down. Several heroics drop there. Warden's Cage was used, as was Valkyrie, of course, waiting for Xenaris to come in with that teleport before dropping the Divine Storm. Every single heroic has been used to save Hornepult and then Brightwing's extra blink there. This time around, though, with no May, we should see CCS just try and back out and make something happen elsewhere, because it's really difficult to go in without a tank, and the members of 30K are just chunking away at this altar.
They really are. They've got such a big head start here and such good AoE, even without Sylvanas or the Junkrat there. They've got Malthael, who is just cleaning this up. He could absolutely solo this if they wanted to leave him, but for now, they're just going to make the use of that on a pale horse to get to top lane, because double split push, and they're going to get it to 39 and wait.
Like the play from CCS here. They're going to try and find value elsewhere on the map. They're going to have to go back and defend now, but they were able to get a little bit extra experience. They're behind right now. They need to get that 13 to have a proper fight. There is no gate here to make pulling this over even more fearsome, but of course the Salad just drops the Cryo Freeze, and now they're going to back out and defend.
Full old-style shield build from that Anubrak, now picking up the urticating spines, giving themselves a little bit of extra clear on that objective and some extra damage in these team fights. Stun onto Ivy Tings, doesn't turn into anything. And now they're just clearing out.
Are going to see the black arrows come down. Fort will fall. Ice Wall is dropped. Once again, doesn't connect. They were able to zone away X-Ray. They're going to also see Hogger just pop like a balloon. They killed him off with the Wailing Arrow there. Cassia is going to be stuck, and we're going to see that Divine Shield. Maiev goes down. Cassia goes down. It's wait until they drop. And you're like, is it? Okay, he died. So 3 heroes taken out there. The members of 30K still pushing along, finding their stride back here in game number 3.
Steel Trap are great, chasing down Caesar Salad, trying to set up, but they don't have enough minions to push any further, and the spawn timers are still a little low. As such, still a great setup for the members of 30K. They're going to get 2 forts out of this. And they also give themselves a very solid XP lead, a level and a half in their favor right now. Good burrow charge by X-Ray gets them out of danger.
It's continuing to play it safe for the time being. They grab 2 forts, so they have got it made in the shade on the side of 30K right now. Potentially looking for a pick here as they go to grab this top fort as well, making it that triple fort play, which is really hard to come back from, actually. Just because the keeps and the forts are so far from each other, you can really find ganks from anywhere on the map anytime someone tries to step up. X-Ray looking to grab that well. Ivy Tings has had enough. Will defend it.
Top lane is where the next objective spawns, and X-Ray really wanted this team to help him out there, but no, they leave the fountain, so this will be available for the members of CCS when the next objective comes around, unless this minion wave and Sylve are able to take it out. For now, Malthael ported back to base, and yet that fountain is absolutely doomed. No way that's going to stay alive here. A Sybil 16 is hit for the side of 30K.
It's going to be a really hard one for CCS this time around. Not unwinnable, but still very hard. They're down 16, so they can't even look to come out. The next objective, unless something super crazy happens, will most likely have to be forfeit as well. They're just trying to protect the structures the best they can, find 16, and then potentially make a play.
Trying to set up, they're trying to buy time, but 30K, look at the audacity. With all 5 people alive and Brightwing literally just being able to teleport in, they still just destroy that Merc Cap to get even more pressure onto this top lane. That's how far ahead they are, that's how confident they are as they pile on here. Still a full level away, basically, for CCS to get their level 10s, and they're not going to have Hogger to do it, who is burst down, taken out. He does not become a last right stack, though.
Poor Thanatos, at that point, you're locked down for so long. That was probably 3 or 4 seconds of CC. You're just like, I'm gonna go grab a drink, guys. I'll see you later. We are gonna see the Riptire polymorphed out there. Will end up getting out. Yasu was caught in that May heroic there. The ice wall going down, but no one in position to follow up on it. The keep is taking quite the beating, especially with those Sylvanas Black arrows, but not able to finish it off just yet. The Shrine is active, though, in this top lane, and that'll certainly take care of it.
I don't want to talk about the logistics of polymorphing a remote control tire into a living thinking creature. That is a very weird subject to have, and then immediately turning back into a tire and exploding. In this case, though, 30k, they will have that Riptire back in 35 seconds, so it won't be available for this fight, and it is a fight with level 16 on the board. We're seeing CCS, card censorship. They're trying to step up. They need to make something happen.
Everybody is alive. They have 16. Liam is actually zoned away, so now's the time to do something. Cassie, though, will be stuck in that cocoon. Zizu's Talent taking quite a bit of a beating there. Is very low. Right Wing Teleport will need to come through. They're just chunking away. They managed to find Dino. The Sylvanas will end up falling. Great Ice Wall finally coming to fruition here. Ivy Tiggs chunking away at X-Ray. The team, they just have to back out. A significant amount of their clear was taken away. We are going to see that Riptire jumps onto Hoggery, eats that trap there, though. Now more damage coming through here. Yasu, little bit of poke damage, but still hanging in strong.
29 to 34, this is still doable. That's what we're seeing here, a dive to try and get the objective. But Roger cleaning them up here. Picks up Uther, looks for X-Ray, but Ghost Healer is keeping them alive as Uther saves the team. But that is a very one fight by the side of Card Censorship, and they take that 2-for-0. They make their way forward. And they gotta make something happen. They're gonna have to just go as hard as they can. Unfortunately, their structure damage isn't the highest. Cassian's gonna have to do a lot of work here.
They're looking for kills, not siege, which is always really rough when you have to siege. We did see it Malthael in the middle try and harass him out a little bit more, so they had to send Hogger back. Not that they really contribute much to the building pressure. The Punisher cleaning up all the minions as well there. Buying time for folks to get back. Last one, of course, being Uther there. Gonna see the jump come through. Great use of the Valkyrie, the Poly, the Telly. Goodbye. A new rack. That squishy tank will go down thanks to the layers upon layers of CC.
This is the Frozen Punisher. This is their best chance now. They've made it past the front wall, but the Frozen shots don't hit the keep here. That's a bit of an opportunity now for the members of 30k to get back into this. Punisher is dropping low. It will finally freeze, but the keep's already down. 30k not wanting to engage without a Nubrak. They just wait it out, pull the Punisher to mid, and it will go down. But Card Censorship take the first keep of the game. They gotta send the Thanatos home, though, because that second keep of the game is looking like bot lane is looking a bit shaky.
A lot of XP there, and yeah, this is really spicy. Of course, the big thing needs to be those catapults. They're going to get the stun on it, and it will survive for now. However, that's 2 basically dead keeps on the side of Can't Censorship. So they'll have to be just really keeping an eye on Malthael, on Sylvanas, because those can go down in an instant, either one of those heroes. But it's all about camp time. It was their opportunity to have the hubris this time. They take that aggressive bruiser, and now they're actually not going to go for any more aggressive camps. Just back up and play safe.
They're going to do what they can, try and play safe, play under towers, wait for their moment. They've just got themselves back in the game. Just don't take a fight pre-20. You can even sack top at this point. Just don't die, don't lose. They're so close to coming back into this. This is the thought process right now of Card Censorship. And yeah, we will see top lane get absolutely wrecked. 30k, they don't choose to capitalize. They don't choose to try and take a 20 versus 19 core fight. They're happy just to get their first keep, and they will just wait for the next objective.
A lot of waiting going on right now. Clearing needs to be done. Camps need to be dealt with. Minion waves need to be soaked. Level 20 still needs to come online for Can't Censorship, which will allow 30k, once again, free roam around the map. Bottom still hanging in there, so just going to continue to play it safe, while 30k look to continue pressuring these already battered lanes.
doing everything they can. Like you say, bot lane's already quite battered, so they're literally just going to delay that for the objective. A little bit aggressive, but it's a smart play for them. Speaking of smart play, Malthael picking up that no one can stop death, ready for the revive. Same with Uther. They have an extra 2 heroes on the map with this, basically, with On a Pale Horse getting Malthael back in the fight so quickly. The extra oomph from Junkrat. On the other side, though, Invisible Friends. The Shatter is going to be huge. That armor reduction if May can land that Ice Wall. And Anger Management, up to 75% Hog Wild hero damage, can actually be a game changer with this Anger Management at level 20.
That extra rage really helps on in. Cassia is still holding for the time being. However, this is really going to change how CCS have to play these, because a lot of it so far has been kill Uther, then go back in and kill everybody else. You know, the ghost healing hasn't been enough. But now, Yasuo can go in, pop all their buttons, die, get 8 seconds of uninterrupted healing, come back to life. If he dies again, that's another 8 seconds of uninterrupted healing. So you're just allowed to hang out there. We do have position, though, for CCS this time. Xenars is going to be able to heal everybody up. However, Hogger has to back out from that unstoppable bounce once again, as he is full of holes.
Warden's Cage comes out, pulls in too, but they're still zoned away. Yasuo pops the Benediction, but can't seem to find the angle for the main stun. He's taking too much damage here, but it is going to be the members of CCS zoned off the point, and now those steel traps are down. Rockstopper was picked up for Cassie, which is immediately activated to get a sustained pull-in onto Uther to try and focus them down. Horn opponent to the backline. Yasuo taken down, but he's got that res. But it's the first and only kill in this fight. He'll be back. It's still 5v5, Jinxie. 26-16.
Everything has to make something happen. Uther is coming back. We are going to see the Riptire drop. Out comes the Cocoon. Thanatos running for his life. It's all about the Punisher right now. They're continuing to chase around. Finally, they end up fighting it. The Punisher will go over to the side of 30k, and this is going to be a rough defense. All the while, Camp was pushing, so we do end up seeing that bottom lane go down, and now middle could be in some big trouble as well.
They really need to protect this. They can maybe sacrifice middle, but they will be all keeps down if that happens, like you say. They really just have to commit as best they can. Stun is landed onto May. She wants to name it a cryostasis. In fact, she's getting focused down to drop the cryostasis there. There's the Valkyrie onto Malthael, but the keep is disabled, so no value is gained. Dineout takes a bit of damage. Good stun by X-Ray. That's a decent ice wall. Do they have the damage to follow it up? No. Liam distracts, delays. Rockstopper is active, but last rights Riptire picks up the kill on Cassia. That's all of their damage taken out at 30k with resetting Riptires. Push on through for the core.
They're looking for it. It's going to be really difficult to find the comeback here. Tetcher is Maya going to be the next to go down. Caesar Salad needs to recover there. Only one alive. Safe Hogger who's being chased all the way across the map. That is going to be game. Oh, maybe?
The Thanatos, live
till the end.
The stats. The Thanatos protects the stats, but 30k protects their place in DreamHack Beyond as they move on to the finals and get that coveted qualified spot.
They're definitely guaranteed a spot now. It's all about getting that extra pizza money. So we take a look here. A relatively low kill game, 5-9 in favor of the members of 30k.
It really was. There weren't too many kills on the board here, with Cassia getting 2 of the kills and Maya getting the other 2 on the side of CCS, just trying to pick up quite a few kills on their side, where it was Junkrat grabbing 3 kills from the side of 30k. And remember, a lot of those were that final fight. So before that final fight, the kill count where 4 people went down, everyone except Hogger, the kill count was 5-5. That's how close that game was in terms of kills. Both teams were down a keep. It literally came down to, does 30k get a kill under this Punisher? If they do, they win. And they did. It was that close. It was literally, can we blow someone up with Riptire? And they did it.
Really well played by both the teams. I like what both of them were going for. In the end, though, 30k was just able to layer upon layer the CC on the side of CCS. They tried to get away, couldn't do it, and the pieces just weren't able to come together. It was more of a Picasso painting than a full-on puzzle there. So definitely a great try, and we hope to see him back next time. But I'm really excited to see where 30k go from here.
Couldn't agree more. Like you say, there is a next time. There is another qualifier coming up in 2 weeks' time, so there'll be plenty of time to sign up for that. But our games today are done. We still have a grand finals coming up. Both these teams have qualified, so congratulations to 30K, and from the other side of the bracket, Wild Heart Esports both make it into DreamHack Beyond. But that grand finals will be coming up. We'll be bringing you all the action after this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the grand finals after this short break.